So this is command your campaigns, and we're talking about direct mail campaigns. So that's going to be like all of your postcards that are sent out through command, and they are partnered with Real Mailers, I think it's called, who so basically you submit your postcard and like which houses you want to target, and then they're going to print it for you and mail it for you. So it's very quick and easy to get postcards out in like no time. And it's also really affordable too, like compared to actually bringing a postcard to a print shop and then, printing all the, there's someone joining, printing all the labels or having the print shop print them and then, bringing all those postcards to the post office to mail out definitely adds up, and it's a lot of time spent. So Command makes it really easy to just design your postcard and send it out with a couple clicks of a button. I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll hop into Command here. All right, so before we get into actually how to mail the postcard, I'm just going to quickly go into designs to show how you can create them. And I'm not going to dive too deep into this because we have a lot of different designs classes that usually Carrie Qualters will teach. But I'll at least show you some of the different templates you can start with. So within designs, which is right here, this little paintbrush on the left side, you just hit this plus sign at the bottom right corner to create a new one. And then you're going to go to the print option and click on next. So then from here, you'll see on the left side, you have all these different categories. And then within each category at the top, you have different layout options. So I'm not sure why like Instagram is under the print design, but you'll see you have jumbo postcards. So these are 11 by 6 inch. So these are those really long, kind of skinny postcards. And then you have, or let's see, those are the jumbos. Then you have large, which are 9 by 6, so just a little skinnier. And then you have the standard, just 6 inch by 4 inch. So depending which postcard template you're using, the price is going to vary a little bit, but all of them are pretty cheap. So this first category is my app. So these are all postcards that are going to have like your app website and some information about it to try to get people to actually go and download your app, which I think these are pretty nice looking. And then let's say you have like a listing you're trying to promote. So if it just listed, you can go to that category. And there's a ton of different print options here, like different brochures and things. But for postcards, it looks like we have portrait or standard. So there's no jumbo postcards of this in this category. If you want to do a straight up and down postcard, they have those, and they have the standard horizontal ones. And then you have like price updates. If you reduce the price, you can do neighborhood snapshots. So these, it basically pulls in information about a specific neighborhood or area. And then you can, it's kind of a good thing to sell to maybe like your farm neighborhood to give them like a price update on what's going on. If you want to do a postcard for an open house, they have a few of those. Something to keep in mind is when you're going to, someone else requested to join. So if you're doing an open house postcard, just make sure you plan ahead. You might want to schedule an open house like 2 weeks out, because if you're, doing an open house this weekend, it's possible those postcards won't get there in time. But there are 2 different options where you can do the standard shipping or the priority. And I think the priority says it should be there in like 3 to 5 days. So I guess if you're on a quick time frame, definitely spend the extra money to get it out right away. They have just sold postcards. There's some different ones towards buyers. So you can maybe send these out to like townhome communities and, maybe communities you think that they're going to be moving up, pretty soon, maybe like apartments or something. They have That looks like there's no postcards for Keller Mortgage yet. But yeah, a whole bunch of different categories. So I'm just gonna like, click on one, and I'm not going to spend much time customizing it. I just want to show you, how many different options there are to start from. And then you can go in, you can swap out all the verbiage, the pictures, and really, customize it to how you want it to look. So for this one, we're going to do an app advertisement. And let's do a large postcard. I think the jumbo ones are just kind of obnoxiously big, in my opinion, whereas the standard ones are kind of small. So I think large is that, happy medium where it's not just going to get trashed, but it's not super big and flimsy. And then you'll see there's a bunch of different options here. Let's see. I'm going to go with this one down here. So you just click on it. It's going to open up the design platform where you can go in and edit all the details on it. So I think this one would be good just to send out to a neighborhood, people that maybe are going to download your app and start looking at homes, even if they're not looking to buy or sell right away. But this is a good one because on the front, it says insights fresh from your local housing market. Everyone's curious about what's going on in their area. And then you could actually go in here and, change out the stats. And then at the bottom here, you'll see the pages button. So this is where you can swap from the front of the postcard to the back. So this is going to be the front of the postcard, and then you can go to page 2 and see what's on the back side. And obviously you would want to put in your own information. Don't send out a postcard for Lisa Johnson. And then one thing I wanted to, just want to delete some of this verbiage to free up a little space at the bottom here. So one cool thing that I had found the other day, a couple more people joining in. Here we go. So you'll see here on the back of this app postcard, it says download my app here. And what you would do for this is you would swap it out with your app link. And to find that, you're going to go back into Command. And then down here at the bottom, you go to the Consumer tab. And you have to have your app, set up and branded to you if you're going to do this postcard, obviously. On the consumer page, you go up to the top right to Site and App Settings. And then you'll see there's this URLs tab right here. And then you'll see your app URL right at the bottom. So you can just click on copy. And then we're going to go back to that design and paste it right in here. And obviously you would want to change the verbiage up and maybe talk about what the app does. But the other thing I wanted to show you real quick is on, let's see. So if you go to Google and look up QR code generator or QR code, there's a lot of free websites where you can post a link to a website and it will generate one of those QR codes that you can scan on your phone. So I found this one. It's qrcode-monkey.com. And all you do is where it says your URL, you're just going to paste it in there. And then on the right side, click Create QR Code. And that's going to swap it out, and then you just hit download. And then when you're back in designs, when you're up here at images, you can add that QR code in by going to add, and then you can drag it right in there. And then just click on it. It's going to throw it on your design. And then you could go in, and like add some text that says, just copy and paste this one. And they have some like icons here. You could do a little arrow icon, spruce it up a little bit. A lot of different arrows on there. Let's see. All right, not the best options here, but all right, you guys get the idea, right? So you can generate a free QR code. That way on your postcard, if you're trying to get them to go to a website, so you could also use these QR codes if you were to, say you had a home for sale and you wanted to send them to that listing, if you were to like create a landing page or send them to your website where that listing is, you could do the same thing and say, you know, scan this QR code to, you know, learn more about the property to get all the details and pictures. So it's just a really quick and easy way to get them rather than them having to type out this long URL code. They can just scan it right on their phone and be taken there. So once you've really customized your postcards and made sure they look good, there's a couple steps you have to take to download them properly so it's going to work within the mailing platform. So what you have to do is go up here to where it says download. It's this little arrow. And then what you're going to want to do is click on this far right one for Get PDF. And then you have to download them one page at a time, because otherwise it's just going to have one big file with both of your postcards on it. So what you're going to do is click on this Download in Range button. And then you're going to want to do from page 1 to page 1. And then we're going to have to do it again for the second page. And then underneath you have change quality. So we want this high resolution print quality since it's going to be a printed postcard. And then you're going to go down here. This last step is publish settings. And this is how you get it to the correct size. If you don't do this, then it won't go into campaigns properly. So you have to select this top option for use manual bleed. So that's going to add like a tiny edge around it. That way it's not getting cut off. And then you're just going to do start download. So we see that at the bottom there. So that's page 1. And then we're just going to do the exact same thing for page 2. We're going to go up here to download and just change this from page 2 to page 2. And then it's going to keep that same, the other settings on there, high resolution and the manual bleed. And then you're just going to download that one. All right, so we have both pages of our postcard now. So now we can get out of designs and actually go into campaigns, and I'll walk you through how to target who you're sending it out to, set a budget, and all that fun stuff. So we're just going to hit done so it saves that. Any questions about designs and how to actually find the postcards and edit them before we move on? All right, so we have our postcard designed and downloaded. So now we're going into campaigns here. It's going to be on the left side. And then what you're going to do at the top right corner is you're going to click on create a new campaign. And then you're going to go to this bottom left option for direct mail. Regina, like QR code. Thank you. I like that idea too. All right, so you've clicked on direct mail. You're going to give your campaign a name. So this is just for your own reference. So for this one, I'm doing a large postcard about the app. So I'll just say app postcard, maybe I'll say large. You could add in there like what area you're sending it to. Because again, this is just for your reference later if you wanted to go in and like duplicate the campaign or make any changes, because you can save it as a draft and then go back in and change it. The goal of the campaign, so this one, let's see, there's not really a app promotion. So I guess this one would kind of be like brand awareness. You're trying to get people to download your branded app, or you could do other. And then we're going to dive in. Once we finish this one up, I'll show you the default templates. So these are for like just listed, like for sale kind of properties. And they're just very generic templates where you can go in and quickly add in a picture and be done with it. But I would suggest actually going to designs and really, customizing it, because you can do a lot more in designs than you can when you use these default templates. So we're going to click on upload custom template and then do setup campaign. And on this page is where we're actually going to upload those postcards we just downloaded. So you'll see at the top, there's the front and the back you can click on. So on the front of postcard, you can either drag and drop it, or you can click on it and browse for it. So I have it right at the bottom here. I'm just going to drag it in. So this first one is the front. So we drag it up there. And you'll see there's this gray bar on top. That's not going to actually show up. At the very end of this, it'll show you a preview of how it's going to look. So don't let that fool you. And then you're going to click on back a postcard and do the same thing. So we have the front and the back uploaded. Then we just scroll to the bottom and click on continue. All right, so on the left side here, we've already done the name and the goal. So that was what we just did. Next, we're going to click on Market Center. So this is what it's going to use on the back of the postcard to show who the postcard is coming from. So your DBA logo, I'm sure all of you have these downloaded already. You can find them, I think, in the intranet and on kwconnect.com. But you're just going to go in and upload your Quan logo. And it looks kind of squished there, but on the postcard itself, it's going to be normal size. Market Center name. Ours is Keller Williams, Atlanta North. Street address, 3730 Roswell Road, Suite 150, Marietta, Georgia, 3062. And then it's going to make you select the actual mailing address. So we're just going to click on that, confirm address. And then your targeting right here. So you have two different options. You can do local targeting, which is what I like. I think that's, kind of a game changer, is you can basically put in an address or an area and then target all of the homes around it. And you can choose, which homes you want to exclude if you want to get rid of some. And then if you want to actually target people that are in your contacts, what you can do is go to Target My Database. And as long as those contacts have a mailing address in their file, you'll be able to go in here and select them just by clicking on the left here. So you'll see some people without addresses, it's going to show that the mailing address is missing. But then for someone like this, I can just select her. So that's a way, if you're sending out like an event flyer or an event postcard, like an invitation, you could really, target those exact people that you want. I actually want to get rid of her. So I'll go to local targeting instead. And then I'm just going to put in, say, like our home office address. And then the budget here at the bottom. So you can change this on the next page when you actually go in to target who you want to target. So defaults to 200, so you can just keep it as is and then change it when you get to that next spot. And then you'll see postage class on the right side. So as like I was saying earlier, if it's an urgent postcard and you want to send it first class, it's an extra 20 cents for this specific size of postcard. So you'll see the different pricing here on the right side. So for the small postcards, the 4x6s, you can only send it first class, but it's 59 cents. And then for the other two, you can choose between standard or first class. Just depends on how quick you want it to go out. So let's just say standard for this one. And then we're going to click on save. So we have all of this set up. And now we're going to go to the actual targeting page. So at the top right, click on step 2. And click on yes. All right, so you'll see on the last page, we had said 200 homes around this specific address. So this red dot right here is the address I put in. See if I can scroll down and zoom out a tiny bit. Oh, or a lot. Zoom back in. So you'll see it basically takes the 200 homes that are closest to that address and just makes a big circle. So if you want to keep it really close into that address, how it is now, you could actually go in and filter it on the left side here. So say you're in an area where there's some multifamily homes and you don't want to send any postcards to them, you could click only single family. And then you can narrow it down by bedroom, square footage, year built, last year sold, or the sold price. So, if you're trying to target specifically homes that are under 200,000, you could cycle it down that way. Or if you want to do, target those luxury clients, you can do the opposite and put it all, over 750. The last year sold, I think, is another good one. If someone sold their home in 2020 and you're doing a postcard going out to potential buyers, people that bought their home this year or last year probably aren't likely to, buy another home right away. So you can filter this down, maybe like, nothing that's been sold in the past 4 or 5 years. And you'll see it narrows down those homes that haven't sold, and then it adds some more around the outside. So the more you filter it down, the wider it's going to have to go out to find those properties that meet the criteria. And then let's say for a fact that, this specific house right here, an agent lives here, and you don't want to send it to them. Another cool thing is you hover over them, it's going to show you when it last sold and for how much. But what you can do is just go to remove. So you hover over it and click on remove. And it'll get rid of that property. So it turns it into a little red dot or gray dot. So that's a way, to get rid of specific homes that maybe meet the criteria, but you don't want to mail to. And at the bottom here, so you can choose, again, if you want to send it standard or first class, and it's going to update that pricing. And then you can also choose to send a copy to the company address. So this is going to go to our Quan office, and we'll have, your information on it. So they'll throw it in your mailbox. So I would always suggest doing that just so you can see how the postcard looks in person. And if you want to, what you could even do at this point is I could filter it down, to one home and only send it to like my home address. So there's no minimum. Like I could literally spend 79 cents just to test this platform out and send myself a postcard to see how it looks. So I would suggest doing that before you actually start sending this to a lot of people. As, pretty much any platform on command before you start doing mass emails, send it to yourself, see how it looks. Always best to test it on your own. And then one other part here, let's see, increase this a bit again. So you'll see on this map on the very far right top corner, you have this polygon targeting tool. So let me zoom out a little bit. So you go to the top and you click on this polygon targeting tool. And this is going to let you go in and actually define the area that you want. So let's say you don't, necessarily want a big circle. You would rather skip people that are like below this street. So you can just kind of click and drag this line. Let's say I want to go all the way out here. Oh. So you can really draw the boundary. Say you want to do it only to like one specific street or one neighborhood. You just have to outline that neighborhood. Oh. It's very quick to zoom out. Do we have any questions about targeting? Are you guys following along still? It's been awfully quiet.
Yep.
Good. All right. So we have our target area set. And then all we're going to do is click on next. And that will bring us to this last page where you can actually go and pay for the postcard. So I didn't actually customize this, so I'm definitely not going to be sending it out. But I want to show you that on this last page, you're going to be able to see the actual final preview of it. Give it a second to load there. So you see that's how it's going to look. Or if you want to do a larger preview, you can click on that and it'll open a new tab. So definitely triple check that before you actually go to send it out. But if everything looks good, you're just going to go down to the bottom here and click on make a payment. And it's going to bring you to Real Mailer's payment page where you just put in your card info, or they might have your card on file if you've used this before. But one thing to point out is Real Mailers is very quick. So they have a bunch of different, they call them fulfillment centers, but basically like printing areas or printing warehouses. So you'll see if you submit your order before 3 p.m. on a business day, they're going into production that exact same day. So when you go to preview, really make sure that you've set it up properly. Like you'll see on this one right here, it's a good example. On the back side here, it puts in, Quan's info and then where it's going. So there is a buffer kind of area down here on the bottom right. So you'll see my text right here got cut off. So definitely check that preview out well and make sure it is 100% ready to go. Because basically as soon as you make that payment, it's going right to the print shop and there's not much you can do, unless as soon as you press it, you call them. But it's going to go out really quick. So definitely, triple check your work and make sure it's all set up properly. I'm just going to go back into campaigns now. I want to show you the default postcards that we had talked about. So again, at the top right, we're going to create a new campaign. And then we're going to go to direct mail. Let's say this one is advertising a listing we have for sale, and we want to use their default templates. So we'll click on that one and do setup campaign. So this is going to pull up KWLS to where you can go in and search for that property you're wanting to advertise. So let's try this out. So to search the address there, it's going to come right up, and then you're going to click select. And it's going to pull in the information. So we'll go through the left side and make sure everything looks good. So it's going to have the street address. It looks fine. Listing price, listing status, which is optional, but you could say just listed, or if it's just sold, coming soon, you can do that. Bedrooms and bathrooms, it looks like it didn't pull that in. So I'll go, it's a 5, 3.5. The description, it just pulls in from the MLS. So, you might want to go in there and kind of change it, because I know with the MLS, you have that limited character count. So you might abbreviate certain things. So on here, you have 575 characters. So, just put in a few eye-catching sentences about it. And then, like we had done earlier with the QR code, maybe at the bottom say, or scan this QR code to learn, find out all the different details and pictures. And this default template actually has a QR code like widget they put on there. So rather than going to that other website like we did earlier, they'll do it for you. And we'll get into that in a second. So we're going to save this and go to listing photo. And you'll see here, these are the default templates on the right side. So basically you just get one photo with these specific ones. That's why I like going to designs, because you could actually put in a couple different pictures if you want. But for this one, I'll just use, the front of the house. Let's see, low resolution. So I guess that's not the right format. So I might actually have to go in and find an image that fits that criteria, which hopefully I have one on this computer. We'll see. Not sure what happened there. All right, so it looked like that one worked. So we go to the bottom here and save the photo. You're going to click on agent and make sure all of your information is correct. So you have your agent photo there, your name, your email, your phone number. And then you have your market center information. So we're going to, again, put in that DBA logo. Throw that in there. You have your market center name. So I might change this to actually say Atlanta. Maybe get rid of realty. Address. We're going to verify that one. Targeting is just like before. So we have local targeting, or we could target the database. So let's say we want to do local again. And then the rest of this is, just about the same as before, where you go in and actually target. So you have your quantity and what type of, or how you want to mail it out. And then on the right side here, so these are the different formats. So you'll see they have the small 4x6, they have the 6x9, and then for the jumbo postcards, they have these two different options. So either the straight bar on the bottom, or you have the, left and right kind of split image. So let's say I want to do, let's see, I'll just go with this compact card because it's a cheap one. And then you'll see here the QR code. So what we would do is click on tracking on the right side. And then for this, you actually have to create a landing page, which we haven't done for this property. And there we have, classes on creating those landing pages when you have a home listed. But basically you would just hit this drop down and find that landing page. So like, let's say I wanted to use this one. That was for a different property. And then I'll go to configure targeting. All right, so just like before, you can go in, you can filter out the properties, you can draw your own area if you want. I just want to show you how this finished product looks with these default templates though. So let's just say everything is set up the way I want. I'm going to click on next. And we'll see these previews at the top. So I will say I tested out one of these default ones and just sent one to myself, and I, was not very impressed. So again, I would recommend going into designs and using one of their templates. They're just a lot more elaborate. I find that these ones are just kind of plain. So you'll see there, it looks like, get the larger preview here. So we were right at the character limit with the description, and it looks like it slightly got cut off on the bottom. So, always check the preview and maybe go back and cut your verbiage down, take a sentence out, make sure it doesn't actually get cut there. Let's see. But the rest of it looks all right. I mean, we have the front of house picture and this bar on the bottom, and then on this back page, we have our information. And then that QR code is at the top right there. Someone have a question? I felt like there was a slight noise.
Yeah, sorry, why do you say we need the landing page in this case? Why is it necessary?
So only if you're going to put on this QR code by like using their default template. So with the QR code that I showed you earlier, you can actually send them to any website, you know what I mean? Whereas this QR code on the template in campaigns like this is like you can't actually type in any website. It's linked to only like the landing pages you've created for some reason. I guess there's just some way for, when Keller Williams was partnering with Real Mailers, they wanted to make it like quick and easy.
Okay.
So yeah, only when using these default templates can you only send it to a landing page.
Okay.
So if you do it the way we started with, you can send them anywhere. Regina, yes, this will be on the Quan training channel later today.
Hey, Kevin, I do have a question.
Sure.
So when you upload the picture, do I have to go back to design to kind of, like if I wanted to move the picture around, maybe if I wanted to center the picture where the whole, the property is centered and showing, like you see the way you have the other properties on the side, in the case where I wanted to center it, is that something I can do here, or I have to kind of go back and edit the picture and crop it out or something?
So for this specific postcard, like I showed, this is like their template. I don't think you can actually reposition. So I think you're right. If you wanted to use this exact template, I think you would have to, crop the image yourself and kind of play with it until it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that's why I love designs, is you can move it around much easier. Whereas this one, it's like, select your picture. We'll see how it works.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that is just about everything with direct mail. I'm not going to send this one out either. I will show you that when I don't send it out, you'll see right here, they come up as drafts. So you can always go back here on the right side, click on the three dots, and you can edit it or you can duplicate it. So say you wanted to send out a similar postcard, you can duplicate it and duplicate and customize. So that way, all that information that you've typed in, you can just duplicate it and swap out the picture and the listing if you want. So it saves you a bit of time.
All right, I do have one last question, and I apologize if you went over this already. So with sending out the postcards, if I wanted to receive a copy, to see how it looks, printed out, how do I add my address, or like if I chose like a certain area that I wanted to send it out to, how do I still I'm on the other side or something? How
Sure.
do I?
So I'll hop back into the
Okay.
targeting side of this. So there's kind of two different ways you could do it. One would be to create a duplicate campaign and then type in your address and just make sure that you're the only one checked. But the easiest way is to send a copy to the company address. So it's just
Okay.
going to add one postcard that goes to the office.
Okay.
But if you actually want it to your, primary home, I would say the easiest way is to just create a duplicate campaign and send it right to yourself.
Okay.
So that's a good way to, design your postcard, send it to yourself. And if it looks good and you're like, all right, I want to send it to everyone now, then you go duplicate it and add in, all the different houses you want to target.
Okay.
Any other questions? What do you guys think?
I like it. I think
Stop share here.
it's quick.
Yeah, quick and easy. I mean,
Yeah.
potentially I could have sent out 3 postcards during this class. And they're cheap. I mean, like the way we've always done it is, sending postcards to the print shop and they'll print the addresses on there. And then we bring them to like the bulk mailing office, which our Quan office has a bulk mailing permit. So if you want to do it that way, you can get that permit number from them. And, it definitely takes a lot longer. But at the end of the day, I mean, the postcards that we used to send out outside of this platform, I think they're on average like maybe 20 cents more per postcard, which definitely adds up if you're sending them to a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out some more. I'm gonna actually, once we finish this class, send a test card out to myself again, because the only couple that I've done have been those default templates. Now that Designs is really working well, I want to check that out.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question, Kevin?
Yeah, of course.
Does it always just say current resident, or does it ever pull the people's names, the homeowners' names?
So I think when you're doing the local targeting, I think it always says current resident, which is
Okay.
kind of unfortunate. But if you have those people in your database and you do the select database targeting, it will actually pull in those people's names, I believe.
Okay. What if you have can you upload like a CSV file?
I don't think you can through Real Mailers.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, you could put that CSV into your command contacts.
Oh, that's true.
And then target them that way. It's an extra step, but that would probably work fine too. Yeah. So like, like you said, if you have that CSV, then, a print shop could easily do it for you too. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Real Mailers does that.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else, guys? All righty. Well, like I said, this will be on the Quan YouTube channel. It's Quan, KWAN train.com later today or first thing tomorrow morning. So you guys can go back and rewatch it if you need to. And you can always give me a call or shoot me an email and I'll be happy to help you out.
Thanks, Kevin.
Have a good week.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.